top of centre in people's minds right now is to make sure that the economy in this part of the world can get kicking and raring to a place that people want it to be. And it's with great pleasure that I throw my support behind this document. I think it's exactly what this region needs right now. It's a vision, it's clear, it's ambitious, it doesn't seek to gild the lily, it's honest and raw, and I think it's one of the best attempts I've seen to map a clear future for a region. There is no doubt that the Sunshine Coast economy has been to hell and back in the last few years, and to have a mayor who is willing to front up and do something about it with the business community, I find completely refreshing. And if by some way lending my support behind it can get this going and can help every business make this their Bible, it's with great pleasure that I play a role in that. The second announcement, probably the big one that you've all waited for a long time, is to let you know that I've been informed by the Acting Premier this morning, Jeff Seeney, that he has signed off on the PDA for Maroochydore. That is absolutely huge. It's a 60-hectare site, and to have that acknowledgement that there will be a separate planning scheme to govern development on that site, where council is an equal partner, where they come to the table, they don't get bullied, they have a great say in what happens, in my mind could be just the catalyst that Maroochydore needs to go to the next level. The PDA works by effectively creating its own planning scheme. So instead of going through all the processes that a development has to, it's an acknowledgement that this is significant. We're not talking about a little subdivision here, we're talking about a 60-hectare master plan site. We're talking about mixed use, we're talking about commercial, residential. This really could be something special. Granted, there's got to be some integration. You've got a current CBD here in one form. It has to make sure that it works. But what this does is it says that this won't be a drawn-out process that goes on for years. The people of the Sunshine Coast want action, they want it now, and a PDA for this area will give that right here and now. What governments need to do is, rather than get in the way of private sector, they need to actually get on and do something. And the joy that this does is it actually offers a clear vision and a clear way forward. And coupled with the economic development strategy, I think the best years lie ahead for the Sunshine Coast. You've got to be bold. You've got to be ambitious, and you've got to have a clear way forward. And I think together these two documents will do just that. To have a separate Planning Development Act for the Maroochydore, for that centre, will be absolutely pivotal to making the most of that site. Now, a development like that doesn't happen overnight, but good planning means that you are in place for when it needs to occur. And I think the Mayor's got some pretty ambitious targets to make it work and a way to lever the private sector to deliver. The government isn't about flying over the top of people with a helicopter and throwing money there. We've seen the results of that over the last generation. What good governments do is they enable the private sector to mobilise and get on with life. What good governments do is they find a way to get away from business. Rather than regulating every time we want to breathe some oxygen, good governments and good councils say, this is the way we will unlock your potential. That's what this should be about. There's no doubt there's a special lifestyle here, and that needs to be protected. But that shouldn't come at the expense of people being able to have a job. It shouldn't come at the expense of every tradie having to get out of bed at 4:30 in the morning and drive down the highway to get employment. The best of both worlds can happen, and with a clear plan, it will.